Ladies and gentlemen, the printers have started printing again, and new money seems to be flooding into the market once more, which could open up an opportunity not only for Bitcoin, but for the altcoin market to finish strong with a final leg. And obviously, there's a speculation some people have that it could go beyond that. I'm not really willing to take that leap yet. But at this point, we can look at the charts. We can assess the fact that, okay, the S&P 500 adjusted for the money supply is not at all-time highs, while the regular S&P 500 chart is. We can look at the fact that the M2 is climbing once more in quite an aggressive manner, similar to what we saw in 2020, at least for the last 5 months. And we can bring all this together to tailor it into our analysis and kind of give us an idea of what's going to happen in the next few months. That's what I'll do in this video. I'll look into Bitcoin. I'll look into the altcoin market briefly. Going to do a dedicated altcoin video tomorrow to show you the position the altcoin market is in, and we'll wrap up. This has all actually occurred at the same time as Bitcoin has invalidated a very, very strong level of resistance, broken right back above it on the weekly chart. Absolutely great news and could be a real game changer for the future of Bitcoin on a macro scale. A lot of people ask me what exchange I use as a trader. I use the Bitunix exchange, and I don't have a contract with them. I haven't signed anything with them. I don't work for them. I advertise them on my own accord. With my referral link down below, you can get a 15% trading fee discount permanently attached to your account, as well as up to 8,000 USDT in rewards just by signing up with my link down below. Why would you sign up? Well, it's global. It's non-KYC. It's never been hacked before. It's got all of the functions and pairs that you would expect for a major exchange. For that reason, I use it. And I implore you to consider using it as well. Sign up with my link to help out the channel, help out yourself. Cheers. Let's start with this, because I think this one is the most important from a technical analysis perspective. It is the weekly chart RSI. Now, there's a very important level on the weekly chart RSI. It is the 62 level. The number 62 there on the momentum indicator is the basis of RSI weekly chart price action. That's where the first appearance of the RSI occurred at 62, and since that point it's acted as important resistance and support on the RSI. It seems a bit messy, but that's because the RSI is an indicator that is viewed in hindsight, so we only really see where the candles were when they closed. We don't see the inter-week interactions. If we could see that, we'd see constant, clean retest and rejections from this level. But even without that, and ignoring that and not taking that into account, we still have various constant and clean rejections from this level, from the upside, from the downside, and we can see these have had major impacts on the Bitcoin price, especially over the last 18 months, but ever since Bitcoin's origin, really, or the RSI's origin. If we look at the last 18 months, just for an example, and a few examples here, what we can see is that breaking above this level has led to macro moves, breaking below it has led to brief support before actually breaking down properly into corrections, and over again, the same kind of thing where I'm circling on the price chart and the RSI. You can go and cross-check on your chart as well. What we had in the last few weeks, which was quite important, was a breakdown from that weekly chart RSI level after 3 consecutive candles, by the way, managed to hold on to it, and those are seen right there where I'm circling. And that breakdown, of course, raised some eyebrows. It caused me to be a little bit cautious last week, but now we've seen a very strong bullish engulfing candle and gone right back above it, right? So that was a clear invalidation of that, what was a resistance level, a clear fake out to the downside, and it puts Bitcoin in an incredibly strong position to potentially move upwards here, because now that level that was previously seen as a very strong resistance that we break down below from and that we had to go down for a correction because of, that's not there anymore. In fact, it's been completely reversed with a bullish engulfing candle on the weekly. So now, although Bitcoin remains within the same macro structure, the structure between these 2 yellow lines, which stems backwards from 2017 and 2021 all-time highs, cyclically relevant for that reason, Bitcoin's still in between those lines. But instead of being in between those lines with a bad macro position, looking to go downwards to the bottom of the range, it's now in between these lines with a relatively good macro position within a relatively good bullish channel formation after flipping back above local prior resistance for support. So the entire kind of paradigm here has shifted for Bitcoin from being in a bad position in the short term to being in a relatively good position in the short term, and obviously always maintaining that decent long-term position as well. Now, it's not like we're completely out of the clear here, we're not completely out of the woods, because we haven't actually broken the short-term structure yet. We're still at that resistance, so waiting for a few more percent to the upside and making sure we don't see another rejection pull back here before breaking to the upside is going to be the move if you are looking for buys, etc. And then at that point, I'd even argue that just waiting for the entire macro range to break would be the move. But again, it depends on your objectives, depends on how long you're holding the position and all that. The point I'm trying to make is incredibly good stuff has happened due to that weekly chart level breaking back to the upside with a bullish engulfing candle. And the charts really have kind of taken off the dark shades. It looks more green now. It's more positive. Now, one of the reasons this could have happened is because we're running out of time in the cycle. The 4-year cycle is expected to top around October. There's been some, comments recently. I know I'm going to get some comments in this video about a potential earlier top or later top. No, the 4-year cycle definitely is looking for an October top. That is the most reasonable midpoint of 4-year cycle date range projection. And so given that October is only, 4 months away, we're running out of time here. We're running out of time to make this move. And, the market could have realized that, and it could be flipping back to the upside to account for that. Alternatively, it could become something completely different, which is the money supply. We talked about this at the start of the video. S&P 500 breaching to the upside. We know that Bitcoin is loosely correlated indirectly to the S&P. It's actually directly correlated to the global economy and macroeconomy, but it's loosely correlated to the S&P because they're both connected to the same thing, which is the macroeconomy. S&P is breaching upwards, and that's happening as money is flooding to the market. So we can see that because the S&P 500 is breaching its all-time highs currently on the regular price chart, but on the price chart, adjusted for the M2, adjusted for the money supply, it's not yet breached its all-time highs. So this pump, and a lot of this pump is actually driven just by the printing. And that can be seen right here on this chart, which is the global M2 chart. And you can see a big spike in the printing, kind of reaching a similar trajectory to the upside, very similar to what we saw back here in 2020. And this has actually started basically as soon as Trump came in. Now, I'm not saying there's a connection there. I'm just saying that's the case. S&P pump could also be a reaction to the big, beautiful bill, whatever you guys are calling it over there in the US, right? The new budget coming out, that's obviously going to lead to a pretty significant deficit. How is that going to be paid for? Well, more debt's going to be taken on, more money's going to be printed, and obviously rates are going to be cut as well. So lots of bullish things for the market. Definitely not bullish for the average Joe, but bullish for the market, that's for sure. And it certainly is opening up the potential for Bitcoin to see this next leg. Now, it's not just a Bitcoin thing, and it's not just a traditional market thing. Of course, if Bitcoin moves upwards, traditional markets move upwards, we're going to see something on altcoins as well. Now, there's obviously a question there as to what the scale will be for altcoins and how similar it will be to the previous cycles. But I do think we will see something, and I do think it will be quite good and quite aggressive. And by the way, altcoins don't need much time to do what they do, right? They only need a few weeks. That big move we saw up in December, right? November, December last year, that happened in about 3 weeks. We saw Ethereum moving upwards about 70% in a matter of 3 weeks, okay? Happened the same thing on the altcoin market, generally speaking. If we look at total 3, in a matter of about 3 weeks, right? Even a little bit less than that, we saw the total 3 double, right? The global kind of altcoin market cap chart doubling in 3 weeks. You don't need much time for the altcoin market to make big moves. So it certainly is a good thing for the altcoin market as well to see these positive elements develop. So overall, market's looking to be in a better position than it was a week ago, that's for sure. A previously very, very influential, very, very big indicator is now looking a little bit less influential. And perhaps next time we break down below it, it can't be trusted to the same extent as it is now, or as it was previously, I should say. So that's kind of changing the paradigm there for macro analysis as well. Bullish weekly engulfing candle, looking to be in a decent position of a short term, not quite broken out yet though. Macro's still in a good position, leaning bullish on traditional markets, and altcoins looking for that opportunity. If Bitcoin can pull the trigger, they will follow. I'll do a dedicated altcoin video tomorrow, altcoin season video tomorrow. Guys, thank you both so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I implore you to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I also implore you to check out the Bitunix exchange. A lot of people ask me what exchange I use as a trader. I use the Bitunix exchange, and I don't have a contract with them. I haven't signed anything with them. I don't work for them. I advertise them on my own accord. With my referral link down below, you can get a 15% trading fee discount permanently attached to your account, as well as up to 8,000 USDT in rewards just by signing up with my link down below. Why would you sign up? Well, it's global. It's non-KYC. It's never been hacked before. It's got all the functions and pairs that you would expect for a major exchange. For that reason, I use it. And I implore you to consider using it as well. Sign up with my link to help out the channel, help out yourself. Cheers.